We are talking today about loser mentality versus winner mentality. Another episode that is inspired by the coaching that I do. Sometimes when I'm coaching, all these great ideas, thoughts, analogies, examples kind of happen in the spot. And when something kind of strikes me and I say, wow, I never really said that in a way that I've ever said that before on whatever topic it is. Once in a while, I like to take that gem and put it right here on the podcast. And this has happened just recently when I was talking to a coaching client, and we were talking about winner's mentality versus loser mentality. I know that sounds pretty harsh. You know, winner and loser, like you're a loser if you're thinking this way. I'm not calling anyone a loser. I'm not even calling anyone a winner. I'm just talking about what is the mentality of someone who consistently loses or doesn't get what they want out of life, and what is the mentality, the mindset of someone who consistently wins. Now, of course, you can't win all the time. However, I believe you can lose most of the time. But we want to get you to the point where you are winning most of the time. And winning means accomplishing whatever goals that you have in your life. Of course, this is the podcast where we're talking about dating, sex, and relationships. So the goals will be around that, I'm sure, for you, since you're listening to this podcast. But this can be something that can be taken even further than that. This can be taken into any kind of goal that you're trying to accomplish. And what I'll be telling you today is what is the mentality of someone who is losing all the time? What is the mentality of someone who is winning all the time? Again, someone who is accomplishing their goals or getting what they desire versus someone who is not. And I believe that this is going to help you tremendously because mindsets are really the foundation to being able to win or lose in life. The mindset that you have can really direct you towards any type of outcome that there is, right? You can have a poor mindset that can get you to a loss of an outcome. You can have a mindset that is going to get you to the place where you want to be. So I want to differentiate some of those mindsets here and understand what are the ones of the winner, what are the ones of the loser. Okay? And of course, we will apply this to dating. It all has to do with, like I said, any kind of goal that you're trying to accomplish. So let's just dive in right now. Okay, so the loser mentality says there's not enough. By the way, this is in no specific order, okay? So these are just a few ones that I picked out. So the loser mentality says there's not enough time versus the winner mentality says I'll make the time, okay? So we're talking about time. So I hear this a lot from people. I hear this from colleagues. I hear this from myself, by the way. I always catch myself in this one. You don't think I'm not involved in this as well. Of course, I have been able to get to the point where I have really conquered this and have been able to be in the winner mentality for many years of my life. But you still get caught up and you got to remind yourself. All right, anyways, there's not enough time versus I will make the time. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So someone close to me recently said to me that, you know, they couldn't get to the gym. They said I couldn't get to the gym, and my friend was like, "Yeah, I just didn't have time this week." And it's interesting because this person really wants to make sure that they get to the gym, and of course, we all know, or at least maybe you'll know right now, that this has nothing to do with you didn't have the time. It really means you didn't prioritize it. You didn't make the time. 9.9 times out of 10, you have the time. You're just not prioritizing it. I have some clients say to me, hey, you know, Trip, I just didn't have time this week. And by the way, sometimes that's a failure on my part. When a client says to me, I did not have the time this week to go out and do approaches. Not every time it's a failure on my part, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a failure on my part because we don't get specific enough to get down to, okay, when are you going out? What time are you going out? What day are you going out? Where are you going out? Right? We got to really plan it out and make sure that the person does it. Because I get that sometimes. I didn't have the time to do it. No, you always have the time. 9.9 times out of 10, you have the time. The 0.1, right? What's that 0.1? It's those emergency cases. And when do those happen? Rarely. a extreme outlier, right? And I mean real emergencies. Not like something came up with work or a friend called me. That's not an excuse. An emergency is like my sister went to the hospital, I got COVID, I got the flu, I got sick, right? That obviously that makes sense, but those are rare cases. So again, we're talking about there's not enough time versus I'll make the time. The loser mentality says that there's not enough time, and the winner mentality says, okay, whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish, I will make the time, I will make it happen. It's people who do not work within their schedules, and they don't end up making it part of the schedule. Therefore, you end up not being able to accomplish and do the thing and put in the work that you need to do. Another mentality here, okay? So loser mentality says, this is hard. Winner mentality says, how do I simplify it? Okay? This is something that I learned when I was trying to learn how to approach and talk to women. It was hard. So I had to figure out how to simplify it, how to break it down into smaller pieces in order to be able to accomplish it, in order to be able to make it something that could be potentially be easy. Because things that are hard can usually be broken down into smaller, easier parts. Of course, sometimes even those smaller parts might be hard, like maybe instead of going up to a girl and doing a whole approach and trying to pick her up, you might go up to someone and ask them the time, right? Maybe that's still a little bit hard, but that's going to be significantly easier than doing a full-on approach. So you got to think, if there's something that's challenging, what can I do to break it up? What can I do to simplify it? How do I make it so it becomes easier? How do I take time to deconstruct it and get it down to its lowest common denominator and say, okay, I can at least do that. Okay, so here's an example outside of dating. Let's say that you need to write a paper, or you need to, get a blog post done. Well, doing a whole blog post, okay, that could be hard. Like you're doing it on a topic that's difficult, whatever it is. But how do you simplify it? Well, maybe you write an outline. Well, that's a lot easier. Maybe still hard, but not as hard as just getting the whole blog post done. So you deconstructed it. Okay, so actually, funny enough, you're deconstructing the process as well as the process is being deconstructed, if you follow me, right? So again, the whole idea is loser mentality says this is hard. Winner mentality is how do I simplify it, or how do I solve it? So instead of saying, oh man, this is hard, ask the question that needs to be answered. Okay, so maybe you're like, man, approaching women is hard. Well, let's 180 that, and let's not saying, approaching women is easy, but instead just ask, what's the question though? How do we turn this into a question? Because then when you have a question, you can answer it, and then it can be something that can be solved. So, okay, approaching women is hard. So maybe the question is, how do I make approaching easy? Or how do I get rid of approach anxiety? Maybe you say, okay, flirting is really hard. Well, let's turn that into a question. What are ways that I can flirt with a girl? How can I practice flirting? See, now you have questions that hopefully you can get answers from a coach, from a podcast, from a blog post, from Google, whatever it is. So again, winners simplify it. Losers just say this is hard and usually give up. I guess that's kind of the end result of most people who are losers, right? Oh, there's not enough time. They give up. This is hard. I give up. On to my next one, which is the same idea of giving up, right? So loser mentality is I can't. Winner mentality is how can I? Right? Again, I can't, so I give up. Loser mentality. Winner mentality is how can I? I know this one sounds obvious, but oh my God, I think this is my favorite one. It's actually the most powerful, right? So you might think, oh, okay, I can't do this. Like, this is something that's not possible for me. I am unable to do this thing. Well, let's go 180 on this, and just for fun, for funsies, how do we say that we can do it? Okay, and I don't mean you just saying like, you know what, I can do this. I mean like literally, if you had to, it's like if I gun to the head, right? Gun to the head, how can you make this happen? Like, oh, I can't approach women. Or I can't approach women in this city. There's no one around. Okay, well, let's just play a quick game of how can I? How could you make it happen? It's funny that once you ask that question, we somehow magically are able to come up with the answers. Somehow we can say, oh, we get creative. It's about getting creative of saying, how can I do this? Now, yeah, maybe the solution might be hard. Back to that thing, right? It's almost like, okay, and then we go to, well, the solution is hard. Well, then what do you do when things are hard? You simplify it. But again, we're kind of zooming out a little bit. You're like, okay, I can't do this thing. Man, losing weight. I can't do it, right? You just say, I can't do it. Okay, but let's just play the game of how can I? And then you answer, how can I? Well, how could I lose weight? If I really wanted to, how could I do it? Well, I could, skip meals, eat less calories. I can go on daily walks. I can get to the gym a couple times a week. So how can we get creative and say, how can I? I bet you this is something that I came up with, but I bet you the best people in the world, the people who are creating insane, the people who like Elon Musk created the electric car. And so why did it take so long? I don't really know why, but maybe a lot of people were just saying they couldn't do it. Maybe Elon Musk was the first person who said, well, how can I? How can we make this happen? What are the ways that we can make it happen? How do we somehow achieve this? Let's just have fun with it. Let's make it a game. How could I do this if I were to do it? Okay, here's another one. This is a big one too. Loser mentality says, I want this right now. Winner mentality says, I know that this is going to take time. This is a big one too. Loser mentality says, I want this now. Winner mentality says, I know that everything takes time. Basically, we're talking about patience. At the time of recording this episode, I'm 36 years old, and patience is one of the things that I had to learn over the course of time. Because because now I'm 36, I've had years of my life where things have been accomplished. And I've noticed a pattern, being able to look back at it, is that, oh, wow, things took time. Things take time. Building a business takes time. Learning how to meet women and get good with women takes time. Getting any kind of results takes time. Gaining weight, losing weight takes time. All of these things take time, no matter what you're trying to do, because there's a process of learning, there's a process of mistakes. Very rarely in life, again, outlier situation, are things going to happen very fast for anybody. So the loser says, I want this now. And then they don't get it now, then they get upset. And what happens? Well, we know what happens at the end, right? They give up. But the winner mentality is, I know everything takes time, so I'm going to be okay with the fact that I don't have the results right now, and I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to look at whatever I'm trying to do in a way that I can try to make this process as fun as possible, because life happens now, and you don't want to lose the seconds, the minutes, the hours, the years of your life. So let's just try to enjoy the process as much as we can and know that the outcome will come. There was a time when I really wanted to build a podcast like this and have it be, out there for the world to get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of downloads. Of course, I did not get those right away. But I've been doing this for many years now. This is the 6th or 7th year, I believe, 2015. Yeah, this is when it started. So about the 6th year of the podcast. And it took time. So what did I have to do? Well, do my best and enjoy the process in the meantime. There's a quote. I've looked this up many times. I think it's originally from Bill Gates. And I think Tony Robbins says it, but people doesn't seem to know exactly where it's from. And the idea is people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. And I think the idea behind that is the fact that people are completely underestimating what they can accomplish in a long span of time. And I think that quote really has to do with the idea of patience, of thinking, oh man, I want it all. I can do this. I can get this all right now. And it's like, well, things take time. And that's okay. That's just the reality. It's kind of like this whole episode so far is just like a big reality check of how things work and how to accomplish things. Loser mentality versus winner mentality. So where are you in this? Are you in the loser category or the winner category? Have you been actually doing some of these things in each or both of the categories? Where are you with this? Listen to this part again of this episode if you want to write some of these things down and remember, because these are all mindsets, and I'll make it easy for you. I'll tell you the winner mindsets right now, because obviously that's what you want. We want the winner mindsets. The winner mindsets are this: I will make the time to do the things that I want to accomplish. Number 2, I will simplify the things that I find that are hard. Number 3, I will ask, how can I, when I feel like I can't? And number 4, I will be patient because I know that everything takes time. So I want you to think about those things. I want you to write those down. In fact, if you are writing those down right now, do me a favor, just so I know that you're doing it. Let's hold you accountable. Let's get you in my DMs. DM me right now with this little list. I don't need the list. It's just a way to hold yourself accountable. So I know and you know that you're writing it out. DM me, Trip Advice with 2 P's. Let's see a bunch of these. I get to as many as I can. So why don't you go ahead and copy and paste that and just send it to me in the DMs. And when I get to it, I'll give it a heart. I'll give it a like. All right?